Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Now here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, what's going on, Boise State fans? Happy Friday to you. BJ Rains here in St. Louis, getting ready for the St. Louis versus Boise State basketball game tomorrow night, which we're going to talk plenty about. Jay Tust there back in Boise. Welcome. It's Friday. It's Bronco Nation News Live, and we got Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB. So thanks to everybody for joining us this morning, and thanks to Jay as well. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good. My Christmas lights are officially up.
There you go. That's always have you put out the picture yet?
Not yet, but
okay.
It'll.
What's the light? I know you're big on the stats. What's the light count and stuff?
Also, I got to. I need to finalize to make sure it's accurate. I'm not trying to juice the numbers. So I gotta,
What's the range? What's the range here this year? Is there? And you've had a steady increase. It feels like since you've been a homeowner. Are we going up again?
A little bit. Nothing crazy, but just again, try to add just a little something each year.
And you have like yours look like some professional company. I mean, you did it. I mean, you've got every light with the clamp. You've got. I mean, yours is. I'm not surprised with your attention to detail. I'm not surprised, but it certainly is an impressive sight to see.
We all have our little Christmas traditions. When I was a kid, my father was an electrician. He's retired now, and so he liked to put on a little bit of a show. He was really good at it, and I just try to continue the tradition over here now.
Okay.
So, yeah. Took a couple days, but we're done. It's nothing like some of these houses you see, but I think it's pretty good.
Nice. Well, looking forward. Always enjoy the tweet with the stats on the lights and the strands and the power supplies and the all the chances that it short circuits or whatever. Yeah, but
normally they've never actually followed through, which is completely fine, by the way. But usually my neighbors who are a little older, they come over and they drop the joke every year how much they like it, and then say, "Hey, you throw us your electric bill and we'll pay it." Which
nice.
I've never done that, but I just them wanting to like even say that is my victory. So
well, we do have a lot to get to today. I can go ahead and show folks. We've got the we've got the giveaway today. It's the next round of the subscriber appreciation. There's our wheel of names ready to go, Jay. We're going to be giving away some pretty cool items today, so we'll get to that later in the show. Today we're giving away a really nice tailgating / camping zero gravity chair from our friends over at Stein Distributing. Really cool chair. And we got that. We got a couple gift cards to the Blue and Orange store to give away, as well as we continue to build up towards the grand prize, the trip for two on the private jet to the basketball game in Las Vegas on January 11th. I believe it is a Wednesday. So if you didn't make it in time for today, you still have time to subscribe. $70 one-time fee. You can subscribe and enter in the giveaway. Every Friday, we're giving away some stuff. Jay, I think I got something up your alley. Next Friday, we're giving away a snowboard. We got a pretty cool, nice Michelob Ultra snowboard that we'll be giving away next week. We've got some other cool stuff as well. And, so you can get in every Friday. We do these drawings, and then we'll have the grand prize for this trip on December 31st. So go ahead and get in. And again, today we're giving away this chair here before the show is over. So stay tuned for that. and we'll be doing that at the end of the show. And we appreciate it. We added about 60 names to the pool, Jay, from last Friday to this Friday. So we're right at about 300, I believe, is what we're up to now for the names in the pot. And appreciate everybody that has subscribed or renewed, and that should be fun. And we'll do that later in the show. But we got a lot to talk about. I do want to start with basketball, Jay. There's a little bit of feedback, so I muted you for a second. But we got the game tomorrow night, Boise State, St. Louis. The SLU game loses, I don't want to say loses a little bit of its luster, but the Billikens did go on the road to Rick Pitino and Iona earlier this week and got waxed pretty good. So you're going to have a frustrated Billiken team coming back home. The Chaifetz Arena, you got the side story that I'm sure Leon won't want to talk about, where he interviewed for the St. Louis job, went to Ragazzi's restaurant on the hill where I drove by having lunch yesterday for his interview, and saw Chaifetz Arena, and whether he pulled out of the job, whether it went to Travis Ford, don't know exactly how it went down, but Travis Ford got the SLU job. Leon Rice obviously decided to stay. They've increased the resources, his pay, and everything has certainly turned positive for Boise State basketball, in the last, 5 years or whatever it was since that happened. But SLU came last year, and they're not a name team. I get it. They're not, Duke or Kansas or whatever. But, I mean, you look at – they're one of the top, teams that's probably going to be right there on the bubble to get into the NCAA tournament. And they're still a top, 55 KenPom team. They're at number 54 right now at KenPom. I mean, this has a legit chance by the end of the year to be a quad one game if they're in the top 50. And so this is, Leon said it earlier this week, Jay, this will be their toughest test of the season to date, given it's the fact that it's their first road game, first true road game of the season where you're going to have all the crowd going against you. It is a little bit of a longer trip than most of the Mountain West trips. It's a really darn good basketball team. And Yuri Collins had 20 assists in one game earlier this year. I mean, it's ridiculous. Their point guard, probably the best point guard in America. And they're a really good team. They've got a player back they didn't have when they played in Boise last year. They had a torn ACL. One of their better players is back, Javante Perkins. So that they're a very good team. And it's an awesome arena. Chaifetz Arena will be rocking tomorrow night. They get great support. It's kind of like Gonzaga in a way, Jay. No football team. The basketball team kind of does things. They have a pretty new on-campus arena that the fans turn out to. So it should be a raucous environment tomorrow night. And we can go back to last year's SLU game, I know, and look at some numbers and how things turned around. But first, Jay, just a big opportunity on the road tomorrow for Boise State to try to get another marquee win.
Yeah, I think you still see some of the differences in the programs, right? Somebody pointed this out earlier this week on social media, and that's that, St. Louis had a chartered jet out here and flew right back, and Boise State's going that commercial route, as you know, BJ. And those are some of the differences. I remember when Leon was first connected to that job, and it was kind of like, hey, why that one? And I just think there are some similarities with, I'm not trying to compare St. Louis and Gonzaga, but there's just a couple similarities there where you're thinking I can build this thing because of the financial support and things like that. So massive opportunity, though, for the Broncos, because I know you said that St. Louis just went on the road and lost, but they're perfect at home this season. So as well as anybody, BJ, it's not going to be easy for the Broncos to go into that arena and come out with a victory tomorrow night.
No, we were talking earlier in the show, and I want to get back into this a little bit, Jay. We were talking, I guess, off air. You look at St. Louis coming to Boise last year, and it was just kind of the way it worked out, but it was pretty cool for me that was literally the first day of Bronco Nation News. We started the site last year. I didn't go to St. Louis. I'm not a St. Louis alum, but you know how it is. In a town like St. Louis, they're the only kind of D1 school. And I wasn't like a diehard can't miss a Billikens game, but you root for the hometown team. So rooted for the Billikens, and when they had Rick Majerus and covered some of their games. And so, just as a loyal St. Louis native, I feel like I have a little bit of attachment to the Billikens, but certainly not a huge, fan or by any means of them but it worked out last year where the first day of Bronco Nation News was when the site started last year was the day of the St. Louis game. So I remember that game very well. I remember Leon had agreed to do a live interview with me on my first ever post-game show. And I remember, that was obviously not one that he was ended up being excited to talk about. But you look at the free throw line in that game, St. Louis went 30 of 34, and Boise State went 12 of 26. So Boise State missed 14 free throws in that game, and they lose in overtime. Had a chance to win the game in regulation, and that was a pretty good SLU team too. That was a number 1 seed in the NIT, Jay, and barely missed out on the tournament, I believe. So that was a tough loss for Boise State in that game. And it was a game they could have won. I think there was a questionable call. That was one of the Randy McCall games, maybe, where there was a close call at the end of the game. They didn't call in overtime, a trip, I think, on Marcus Shaver. But I know, Jay, you've got, the angle that you were telling me before the show, and it makes sense, is that really did, I thought it was the start of Bronco Nation news, but I guess Tyson Degenhart going into the starting lineup really was what kind of, turned Boise State's season around. And that was the first game they put Tyson in the starting lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know how that went. Yeah, that was. I mean, quick math last night or whatever. They're 31-7 since that day, since they put Tyson Degenhart in the starting lineup. 31-7. That's remarkable. And you could. I'm not saying you can drop the first game, but the first game, I don't know, it was the first game figuring it out. After the first game, they didn't lose. I mean, we go back to the last year and I was just revisiting it last night really quick. They didn't lose from December 1st until February 3rd.
It was crazy.
That's nuts, man.
It was. And it was even more nuts for me because I had just started this site, and I remember they lose that first game to St. Louis, and then they went on a 14-game winning streak, and literally it was like an unbelievable ride. Didn't lose for 2 months. It was incredible. So you said 31-7?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's some remarkable basketball, especially because, I mean, hey, Boise State's good, and I know that they're used to success, but any team in the country would boast about being 31-7 over a certain stretch. That's some pretty incredible basketball. I mean, you're talking about winning at an 8-15, 8-16 winning percentage. That's legit right there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Chris says if you could have one charter flight, I bet it's better to have one coming home rather than flying there. And they are chartering home from the St. Louis game, so that helps a little bit. They can get home Saturday night because I think they have a game Tuesday night. So it gives them a little more time. But yeah, they are flying the nice commercial Delta flight through Salt Lake City today with the nice 2.5-hour layover in Salt Lake City, I believe. So yeah, they leave Boise at like 10 o'clock. Don't get into St. Louis till like 6 p.m. this evening. So it is crazy though. Yeah. I mean, and I've randomly booked tickets and been on the same trips of them. And you see these 7-foot dudes and all these guys trying to find, seats. And then there they are. 27B middle seat, for Chapuzzo Abbo or whatever. And it's just like with some random, old lady that's doing her crossword puzzle sitting next to him, and it's just, and he's, it is crazy when you think of some of the budgets.
At least they got sat next to the old lady doing the crossword puzzle, not you.
Yeah, that would probably be true. Yeah. I got stuck sitting next to, or I guess they got stuck sitting next to me on one of the flights, I think from Myrtle Beach to Atlanta. I was back there, and I had actually, a lot of them were right around me, but, I thought it was funny. One of the 3 rows was like Tyson Degenhart in the window, and then you had Mike Burns in the middle and Leon Rice on the window there or something. It was, or on the aisle. It was funny just how the random seating assignments worked, but, but no, it is, you see some of these like Kansas, Kentucky's with like 737, huge jets, like where they're taking everybody in the athletic department and everybody. And, when Boise State's travel and they got to pick which walk-on gets to go on this game, because they can only take, a certain amount of people in the travel party. I mean, that's probably a story for another day, but yes, I do know that was one of the reasons why 4 or 5 years ago when Leon was trying to get the resources increased for this program, that he may have been looking elsewhere, just because it is a lot different at a lot of other places. Now, most of the I think UNLV charters everywhere, but most of the Mountain West schools, for the most part, do kind of mix in some commercial with some charters. And I know fans don't like to hear that. It's kind of whining. It's a bad excuse, all this stuff, but that stuff does add up. I mean, they'll be back in Boise by midnight Saturday night, can get a semi-decent night's sleep, and then, wake up Sunday morning and have that quote-unquote day, maybe even as an off day. Otherwise, they're flying out at 6 a.m. and getting back at 1 or 2 p.m. on 3 hours of sleep, and you ruin your day. So, it is a big difference, and we'll see how that impacts things. That's why Gonzaga is not a mid-major. They private jet everywhere. Great environment that night at Extra Mile Arena with SLU. Was a fun game regardless. They lost. Let's see here. How is the energy at St. Louis's arena that factors into my decision to take BSU money line? I haven't seen the spread yet. I think Ken Palm had it at 4 points, Jay. So computer-wise, it looks like it's going to be a fairly close game. But we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be sold out or not. I don't know what their situation is with finals and students and stuff like that. But every time I've been there, I'm trying to think of a Mountain West arena to compare it to. It's a newer arena. It's got like I don't know how to describe it. I don't know, but it's a nice arena. It's brand new, like the last 10 years or so. And one of their big boosters just gave them enough money to build it, and it was, really nice of him, Mr. Chaffetz. So, but Jay, they're 3-0 when you look at Colorado, which, by the way, a couple people are commenting. How about Colorado just blowing out Colorado State last night? The beatdown, as Keaton called it, and that helped Colorado jump back up to number 51 at Ken Palm, which helps Boise State too. But Boise State got the big win over Colorado, the big win over Washington State, and the big win over Texas A&M. They're really 3-0 in these kind of quote-unquote big games. They're kind of playing with house money tomorrow. They're supposed to lose tomorrow. It'll be a quad 1, maybe a quad 2 game. It's not really a big deal if you lose, but if they find a way to win this, this is a win that, and all of a sudden, like the at-large picture to the NCAA tournament comes back into play here.
Yeah, you figure. I know that I guess they're teetering 80-ish in the net rankings, right?
Who is? St.
Louis.
Oh, I guess because they had lost, but they were in the 50s until they lost that game. I haven't looked. It
feels like that could be a potential quad 1 game when all is said and done. You're right, maybe a quad 2.
The numbers do change a lot in the net from now. The data is just not very strong. So
right. And
80. Yeah, you're right. 81 now.
Is the net still factoring in some of last year too? Is that right?
I don't know if it does. You might know better than me. Boise State moved up 2 spots, by the way, 55. But no, I don't. I know Ken Palm does, but I don't know if the net does. I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, this is definitely a game that certainly helps the resume, and that was kind of a talking point that I had on the news last night, BJ. It's just like it. I know that it's December 9th. Like I get that it's really, really early. I do, but. In interviews the other day, Max Rice says that he feels like they're ahead of where they were at this point in time last year. And if you look at where they were at this point in time last year, like there's no doubt that they are ahead of themselves. Is it realistic to go on a 14-game winning streak and not lose a game for 2 months? Probably not. But you still like the position that the Broncos are in at the moment. Have they pulled out that one against San Diego or South Dakota State? Like, wow, you would love where they're at right now. But they've got a really solid resume going for them. And I'm kind of on your side with this in terms of they're kind of playing with house money tonight. If they get this, man, awesome. If they don't, it's not a game that like hurts you a whole heck of a lot, right? So if you're going to pick to lose games, not that you would, this would be one of them. But I'm excited to see like them go on the road and test themselves, because I know that we say that they haven't played a true road game, and they haven't, but like, come on, like going down to Texas and playing Texas Tech, that's pretty much a true road game, right? Texas A&M, yeah.
It was, but it wasn't because the arena was empty. Yes, it was much closer to A&M, and A&M had more fans than them, but it was not like, going to the pit or going to
I get it. It's still more foreign to Boise State than it is to Texas A&M. And
even like when they played Charlotte, Charlotte was 2 or 3 hours away.
They've still kind of experienced that atmosphere. This will be a step up. You're 100% right, but it's been cool to see them rise to the occasion in some of these games that you're like, hey, this is a tough one tonight, whether it be Colorado, Texas A&M, Washington State. Like they've always seemed to kind of play well against, quality opponents so far this year. I expect Leon to probably ride his starters pretty hard tonight and use the bench to supplement that a little bit, but they're going to go after a win, and it'll be fun. It'll be cool. I got a fun one for you though, BJ.
Before you confuse anybody though, you said tonight. It's tomorrow night.
I'm ahead of
tomorrow night. That's all right. Just if anybody didn't want anybody to get screwed up and turn on the TV tonight. Tomorrow night, 6:00 Mountain Time, ESPN Plus.
Sorry, I wish this game was on. I wish this game was on TV.
You can't get ESPN.
No, I'm
Plus?
good. I can stream.
For highlights and stuff. Can you do ESPN Plus?
It makes it a little more challenging
Okay.
because sometimes they black out the screen or whatever.
It's on TV here in St. Louis on like the equivalent of Root Sports or
Okay.
what do they call it now? Bally. It's on Bally Sports,
Yeah.
like one of the local regional channels. But I guess so. At least we get the simulcast on ESPN Plus. Better than nothing.
Yeah,
But,
it'll be a good game though. I wish more people. I mean,
yeah.
there are so many people that are fluent when coming to this or finding this stuff, but I can't tell you how many emails and phone calls I still get whenever it's a streaming only option of how can we watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a very simple answer, but a lot of times the people calling don't understand. So it is what it is. But a fun stat for you. Yuri Collins. I know that he had 20 assists in a game earlier this year. He's averaging over 11 assists per game this year. He's got 665 assists in 94 career games. You might know the answer.
Before you get to the question, just read those three stats again.
Over 11 assists per game this year. He had 20 in one given game. He's got 665 assists in 94 career games. That's an average of almost 8 assists per game for his career. Those are gaudy. I guess that'd be 7.1 assists for his career. Those are gaudy numbers for college ball. I mean, to average that many assists in a 40-minute game is insane.
Yeah, when he had the 20 assists against Tennessee State, the very next game against Southern Illinois, he had 14. Back-to-back games, he had 20 assists and 14 assists. That's ridiculous.
Well, do you know who not only held him to a season low last year, but a career low? In 94 games, he's never had fewer assists in a game.
I think I looked it up, and he only had one against Boise State. So
he had one assist.
Wow.
Yep, it's his only career game where he's been held to one or fewer assists.
And I'll make a hot take here. If they hold him to one assist tomorrow, Boise State probably wins.
I think you love your chances, man. That's why you go back
under 7, you feel pretty good, which is something.
St. Louis had 10 as a team for the game, and like I said, that's what Yuri's averaging by himself this year. So it'll be fun to see how Leon and the guys try to dial this up and try to get stops. Coach Burns, we know one thing about Coach Burns' defense is they're tough. They will grind, and so it'll be interesting to see. I don't really, I probably should have went back and looked, BJ, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but did they put E-Man on him? How did they try to go after him last year? Either way, it'll be different this year because they don't have a guy kind of like that with that length or whatever. If it was E-Man, so
yeah,
Marcus Shaver. If it's also Marcus Shaver versus Yuri Collins, you're going to see one of the best point guard matchups in the country.
Yeah.
On Saturday night. That's going to be an awesome matchup.
Now, they've won 6 in a row. We're obviously kind of, just saying tomorrow's a game that doesn't really hurt them if they lose. But if they find a way to win tomorrow and get to 7 in a row, then you've got New Orleans and then you've got Oakland. And then, Santa Clara, I think Ken Pom only projects them to win by 1 or 2. Santa Clara is at 107 at Ken Pom, so that's not going to be like a gimme game, but that's a winnable game, certainly. You really could go into the Nevada game to start conference play potentially on a 10-game winning streak and be in 11-2. And if you can get by Nevada, which they've been playing pretty well, I think Ken Pom does actually have them losing that game by 1 point. Then you got San Jose State, and you look at Utah State, who's undefeated right now at 7-0, and they're number 46 at Ken Pom. They've got nobody coming up. They got Loyola Marymount, Westminster, Weber State, Seattle, and they play Fresno and Air Force to start their play. You've got a chance. I mean, again, you have to win tomorrow, and that's obviously a big if. But you've got a chance, Jay, for Boise State to be on like a 12-game winning streak and 13-2 and probably top 40 at Ken Pom, and Utah State to maybe be in the top 25 and be in like 13-0. That home game against Utah State, it's probably going to be big either way because I do think that Utah State will be undefeated. But you got a chance for Boise State, too, where this could be quite the game on January 7th.
Like I said, it's crazy how I know that it's early in the season, but the reason why we start talking about it is because once you get through the non-con, things start to pick up. Like it almost feels like a sprint because, you knock off the first couple games and you look up and you're like, oh man, we're almost midway through. And once you're almost midway through, you look up again and you're like, dang, it's time to go to Vegas to settle this thing in a tournament style form. So it's going to pick up quick here before too long, but
you might remember better than me, Jay, but Boise State, according to Ken Pom, has 11 games left against top 100 Ken Pom teams. Mm-hmm. The Mountain West seems like it's really solid and has some good teams at the top, but I don't know if they're quite other than San Diego State, like quite as high as like it seems like there's more teams in that like 40 to 80 range maybe this year, where the overall probably quad 2 games will be higher and their quality top 100 wins. But I don't know if there's going to be quite as many opportunities like you had with Colorado State and Wyoming and San Diego State last year to get those quad 1 wins. But 11 top 100 games I think is very nice. But I guess my point is those are maybe more winnable games when you look at it, as opposed to Colorado State, Wyoming, all being top 30 a lot of last year.
Yeah, and that's why it'll be interesting to see if Utah State, New Mexico, like
UNLV even's undefeated still, right?
Right. I don't know if I expect those 3 to stay there. And when San Diego State and Wyoming last year, and I'm talking about Boise State, its opponents, by the way, because that's what kind of matters in this topic.
Yeah.
You kind of expect Colorado State, like you expected them to kind of stay there and move up. I don't know if I'm going to predict that Utah State's going to finish in the top 20 in the net rankings at the end of the year. Like, good luck to them, and hopefully they do, because that's better for the Mountain West. But I just don't know if that's going to be the case. And even with Colorado State getting the doors blown off them last night, I know Isaiah Stevens is eventually going to return, but they don't feel like they're the quality.
He came back.
Well, they don't feel like the quality of the team that they had last year, right? They're 6-4 right now. They dropped down to 117 in the net. They got a lot of work to do themselves. And so
Wyoming with EK and Maldonado both being out, both those teams have really disappointed.
I mean, Wyoming's, once they get those guys back, they're obviously going to make a big jump. I mean, they're not going to be 254 in the net rankings at the end of the year. I'd be surprised if they're not top 100. I mean, they still seem like a team that somehow is going to figure this out and contend in the Mountain West. But yeah, you're right. I don't know if the league, compared to some of these years, a few years ago, the league feels pretty darn good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's quite what it was last year. I mean, when you get 4 or 5 guys, 4 or 5 teams really deserving NCAA tournament consideration, those are probably considered elite years in the Mountain West, and I don't know if it's going to be quite that this year.
I will say that San Jose State, the quote unquote worst team right now in the Mountain West, is 203 at KenPom,
and that's well above what you would expect them to be. Honestly,
Air Force is 201. I mean, you only have 2 teams, and Wyoming is 131, so you only have 2 teams outside of the top 130. There were a couple years ago where Air Force, San Jose, and somebody else, I think New Mexico, were all like 300s. I mean, to have your worst team be at 203 is actually not that bad.
Right.
Jordan says New Mexico and UNLV were in Andy Katz's first bracket. Utah State was second team out. And there are a couple games, by the way. Sorry to cut you off, Jay. You got UNLV playing Washington State on Saturday. That'll be an interesting one. Nevada is playing at Oregon on Saturday. That'll be an interesting one. San Jose State is at Santa Clara. And then you got San Diego State playing St. Mary's, who's 23rd at KenPom. So we are going to get to find out a little more about some of these teams here tomorrow.
You said Wyoming's 131 in KenPom?
Yep.
I mean, so there's your disparity. KenPom still is counting some of what happened last year, in Wyoming's 131. Over in the net, they're 254.
Yep. And I haven't checked BartTorvik.com either. I don't know where they're at in Bart Torvik, but
yeah.
I like Bart Torvik because Bart Torvik only uses it's similar to KenPom, but it doesn't use last year's data. And the one thing about Bart Torvik too is it's nice because it can you can do time frames basically where you want to say like, okay, in the last 3 weeks, which team's playing the best or the efficiency numbers, and so it's better. You can break it down to not just be the system, but they're 55 at Bart Torvik, Boise State that is. And if I want to look for Wyoming, I've probably got to go Bart Torvik. They're 135 at Bart Torvik too. So I don't know. Well, that's interesting though. That's interesting. 135 there. But yeah, I think overall the league is better. But I guess my point is, Jay, maybe not quite. Other than San Diego State, I don't know if it's like super top heavy, but you have like 7 or 8 teams that are all solid and going to just beat up on each other there in the middle.
Yeah. Yep. That makes for entertaining basketball. It'll make for an unpredictable Mountain West tournament too.
And as what Leon said is you're nice when you start when Boise State's 55 in the net or whatever, but you're like, what are they, 5th or 6th in the Mountain West right now in the net, or 4th? I don't know what it is recently.
Yeah, they're right in the middle. Like,
but when you're 55 and you've got 4 or 5 teams still above you, like that's good. That's good for the league. That's good for Boise State because you got a lot of chances for potential quality wins. Sure. If you were 55 but you were first, Leon would say that's not great, but when you're 4th or 5th at 55, that leaves a lot of opportunities for wins.
There's 6 right now: Utah State, New Mexico, UNLV, Nevada, and San Diego State are all ahead of Boise State. Again, I would be willing to bet that will change. Boise State will rise, and a couple of those teams will fall, in my opinion. But it's already been a surprising season, man. The preseason Mountain West standings look nothing like that list, or at least certainly the order that I just rattled off there.
And if Boise State just had one of those two games back, I feel like the Charlotte game may have kind of been that Bakersfield game where you needed a game like that to kind of turn things around. But the first game, if you make a couple free throws and you beat South Dakota State has gone on to lose 6 of the 8 games, I believe it is, since they left Boise. They're not the team I think a lot of people thought they were, and that the South Dakota State one is one that's really going to eat at them. I'm not going to say it's the one that keeps them out of the tournament, but I mean, if you're 7-1 right now and you have that win over South Dakota State, your metrics are probably higher. You're probably on that Andy Katz bracket maybe as well. I still think they can overcome it, and obviously tomorrow would be a huge game to kind of cancel that out a little bit. But that's one that they're going to probably want back.
Yeah, they're down to 184 in the net ranking. South Dakota State. The thing that'll hurt is that was on Boise State's home floor too.
That'll be a quad 3, maybe even a quad 4 loss. When it's all
I think it's a quad 4 right now since it was on Boise State's home floor. So that could be tough.
But they had the Bakersfield loss and overcame that. So I mean, it's not a death nail at this point.
No, it's not. But it's just like those little things. I mean, I can't remember how many times we talked about that Bakersfield loss last year. That it was just like, hey, you look at their line and their quads, and all of a sudden that one shows up in quad 4, and those are little things that if you're left on the bubble on Selection Sunday, that there might be some jerk out there that wants to hold it against you, and that might be the difference maker. So hopefully that's not the case. It wasn't the case last year, but also Boise State controlled their own destiny last year by going down and winning the Mountain West Conference tournament and taking care of business in Las Vegas.
Jay, any thoughts, any final thoughts? Final thing here. We didn't talk football. I don't know if you want to go transfer portal, if you want to go offensive coordinator search, the Frisco Bowl matchup. Do you have any football thoughts you'd like to get out there to Bronco Nation before we let you go?
I think that the thoughts that I have are the next 11 to 12 days are extremely important to the success of the Boise State football team. I mean, internally they have to have something they feel pretty confident about moving forward at the offensive coordinator position in terms of the coaching search there. They're pretty quiet about it. They're very tight-lipped, but I would assume that they've made some type of progress and at least understand which potential direction that they're going to go in. When it comes to the transfer portal, as you know, BJ, since the start of the season, they've had 10 guys go in, right? And that seems like a big number, but I think when you consider all their cases, I think it's also pretty much on par with what you're going to see in the NCAA this year. It'll be interesting to see if that number goes up after December 17th at all for Boise State. I think it's going to happen around a lot of college football programs after the bowl game, but I think we're also witnessing that portal's getting jam-packed. And
already more players in the last couple of days since all of the entire transfer period last year.
I mean, that's nuts. And usually the hottest time they go in, I think, in at least not just football, but in the NCAA is after the season, after the school year, right? Usually
there'll be another, and after the bowl games too, there'll be another wave coming up. Yeah.
But usually in May is the biggest infusion of kids going in there because the school year's over. And so it's kind of crazy to see the direction of the transfer portal. It also is going to make signing day extremely intriguing to me, BJ, because I know that there's really no cap on how many you can sign in a given class anymore, right? It used to be 25, but now I think they allow you to sign more.
2-year period now or something.
Yeah.
I think they did change.
I mean, your roster cap is still 105 or whatever it is, right?
85 scholarships, yeah.
85 scholarships. So you're still working within some type of parameters, but you're allowed to take some more guys in any given class if you lose some guys, essentially, right? So, but it's just going to be interesting to me. Boise State has 16 high school guys in the boat, right?
Yep.
How many more high school guys do they go get? I don't know. Maybe they leave room. I just think we're going to start to see a method to the madness start to play out with so many guys in the transfer portal and opportunities to add to your team, instant impact guys potentially. I assume Boise State takes maybe a couple less high school guys than they did in the past. And if they're doing that, then everybody else probably around the country is doing that as well. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this happens, how all this plays out over the next couple of years and where the dust settles with this thing. Because another thing, BJ, and maybe it's something that is slightly overlooked at times in terms of how it might benefit a school like Boise State. This is just an example. So, once upon a time, USC would go out and they would sign 25 of the best high school kids they could get, right?
Yep.
They'd get 5 stars and 4 stars. Well, all of a sudden now, they're getting some pretty hot commodities out of the transfer portal. So let's say they're taking this. These are just numbers, by the way, just round-ish numbers. Let's say they're taking 15 high school guys, right? Well, where do those 10 prospects end up? Those 10 high school kids, like, is there opportunity to maybe go down and get some better, more talented high school guys? Like,
the high school kids missed out for sure.
Yeah, they miss out for sure,
and
but
especially
maybe
right now with the COVID years too, because those guys can come back, so there's less spots available.
Right, there are, but maybe it's also an opportunity for Boise State to get some high school talent that they never really were able to get. Like, if the transfer portal didn't exist and all these Power 5 programs are taking 25 elite high school guys.
Yep.
Does a guy like Ashton Genty stay under the radar long enough to land at Boise State, or is he one of those final ads like later on down the road by one of these big Power 5 teams that they grab him away?
Yep.
And I don't mean to use Ashton as an example. He's just a name to use in this analogy,
sure,
or in this whatever example. But I don't know. It's interesting to see how all this could be played out.
Well, Jay, we got to get you on playback here. I want to show you this real quick before we let you go. This is a new thing we're starting with Bronco Nation News. It's called Playback, and we're going to try it for the bowl game. Essentially, Jay, folks go on and authenticate their cable service, their cable provider, so you got to legally be able to watch the game. And then we can set up a quote-unquote watch party where the game will stream right here. Folks can have a chat over on the right-hand side and chat during the game. And then we have the ability, a la the Manning cast, to bring on guys like Jay Tust or Winston or Johnny or whoever to pop in and, theoretically provide some commentary during a game. So we're going to test this out with the bowl game. If anybody wants to sign up for this, we'd love to have you try it out. If you're going to be watching the game at your house anyway for the bowl game, jump on in. You go to, it's called playback.tv/Bronco Nation News. Just playback.tv/Bronco Nation News. And again, during the second quarter of the game, Winston Venable and John Mallory will pop in and kind of provide commentary so you can watch the broadcast, but hear Johnny and Winston talking. You can chat with people during the game over here on the side, and you'll all be watching the same feed, Jay, so everybody will be seeing the game at the same time. So looking forward to this. Well, maybe for a road basketball game or something, we can pay Jay Tust to pop in there and chat with some people for a little bit. We'll see. But I wanted to show everybody this. It's Playback as the new company, and actually it's going to be a lot of fun. We can do some cool things where Boise State fans can watch the game together. So again, playback.tv/Bronco Nation News. Go in there now, authenticate your cable provider, get your screen name and everything set up, and then come back and watch the bowl game with us next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jay and I will be at the bowl game, so we can't jump in during that, but we'll have Winston and Johnny popping in, and it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting down there to Frisco next week, Jay. It's going to be fun, but obviously 2 basketball games before then, one tomorrow, one on Tuesday. I think Monday we'll have the regular Coach Avalos and coordinators press conference, and then we'll get into game week next week. The team will depart on Tuesday, and then got the basketball game Tuesday night, and then we'll head down after that. So, Jay, we're going to give away some prizes, but we'll let you roll, man. We appreciate your time as always, and we will probably see you Monday for Andy Avalos press conference.
Sounds good, bud. Enjoy St. Louis and some time with the fam.
Appreciate it, man. I already have eaten way too much, so I'm already not doing great on the keto diet here with some of the meals. I had to hit my favorite spots here the last couple of days. So appreciate it, Jay. We'll talk to you, man.
All right, bud.
There he is, Jay Tust, sports director over at KTVB. It's giveaway time. It's giveaway time. We're going to give away some prizes. Don't go anywhere. Let me share my screen here. Let's see if we can do this correctly. The wheel of names. Okay. We're going to give away some prizes. Before we do that, I'm going to make you wait just 1 second longer while I thank a couple of our sponsors. Cutwater Canned Cocktails, the more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. They're the sponsor of our studio's sponsorship on the road today in St. Louis. Cutwater Canned Cocktails. Find one at your local gas station or grocery store. How about this? Rowpaint.com, the entire Treasure Valley. They got a new special, BNN 15. BNN 15 gets you 15% off any interior painting of your business or your home. That we're trying to help them out. They got some painters. They're trying to keep busy and feeding their homes this winter. So if you have any paint inside your house, or if you have any thing that you could use row paint for, they're going to give you 15% off. BNN 15. Just mention that or use it in the promo code when you're putting in your price quote. BNN 15% off anywhere in the Treasure Valley. Rowpaint.com. Make sure you please use them and check them out. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com, the sponsor of our pregame and postgame shows. Rain's family loving our F-150 that we purchased from them. And we went to lithiafordboise.com. We searched the vehicles, found the one we wanted, went in and test drove 2 of them, and then made the decision right there on the one we wanted. So you can do the same thing. Check out their full inventory at lithiafordboise.com. I can report that Bronco Nation News and the Idaho Central Credit Union, the Boise State Esports Giving Games, 1-1. We had Sean Whale and Joel Velasquez helping us out. We went 1-1 in the tournament, and we're playing again tonight. So best of luck to those guys tonight in the giving games that were benefiting the Idaho Food Bank. So check them out. You can go down to the Boise State Esports Arena tonight and watch if you'd like. But ICCU.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, appreciate their support. And if you're looking for a new job, Transportation Compliance Service, check them out. The big rig on the screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, any kind of delivery service or truck driving, they can get you all the permits and get you out there towing that first load in no time. So check them out, transcompservice.com. And our other major sponsor is the Blue and Orange Store. Check them out, theblueandorange.store.com. And again, free shipping, any order over $40. They can try to get you that rush shipping for Christmas. Perfect time to get some deals, theblueandorangestore.com. If you're in the Boise area, just go to the Town Square Mall on the 2nd floor there next to Pro Image. All right, we're doing the giveaway. And again, if you're new, we'd love to have you subscribe. $70 one-time fee. $70 one-time fee for the full year of exclusive access, which, by the way, Kai Taylor, we just interviewed Kai Taylor. We have an exclusive subscriber-only video with Boise State commit Kai Taylor, up on the site right now, and you've got to be a subscriber to watch that. So subscriber recruiting interviews, you get BNN After Dark, you get some exclusive stories, and it's all $70 for 1 year. So we hope you'll go enter. And if you do subscribe and sign up, you get entered in the grand prize, a private jet for 2 from Boise to Las Vegas. To go to the basketball game. You get 1 night stay at Circa Resort and Casino. This is the grand prize. And again, thanks Ridley's Family Markets, Boucher Real Estate, the Blue and Orange Store, and rowpaint.com. But we've got other weekly prizes as well. So you get to be in the grand prize, and you get to be in every Friday. We're giving things away. Next Friday, we got a painter for a day from rowpaint.com. We've got a snowboard. We got a lot of great stuff we're giving away coming up here in the next few weeks. But today, we're giving away this chair. And we added about 60 names. We got a couple of giveaways. First, we're going to do the chair, and then we got a couple other Blue and Orange Store gift cards. We had 242 names. Excuse me. We had 242 names in last week's. And if you see as we add to the stream here, we have gone up pretty significantly. We're at 300 names. As you can see up there on the top, we have raised it to 300 names. As we continue to add. So we had about 58 people that either renewed their subscription in the last week or signed up for a new subscription. We truly appreciate all of you for doing that. And we are excited here to give away a couple of cool things. So again, thank you so much for subscribing. We truly appreciate it. And I hope you just subscribe for the content, but as a way to give back and thank you, we are giving away some cool stuff. And so we've got the chair, and then we've got 2 $25 gift cards to the Blue and Orange Store, and 1 free round of golf at Timberstone is what we have today. So we're going to start with the chair, and let me see if I can do this. I do want to show that we've added the names, so you can see we're up to 300 now on the names, and we've added about 60 at the bottom. You can see all the different names that are on here. Hey, there's Bob Beeler. Appreciate him for coming in with a subscription, and we got others on here as well. So hopefully you'll see your name at some point. Everybody should be in here. And we appreciate, hey, there's a Degenhart at Comcast.net. So one of the Degenhart family members, appreciate that. You can see 300. Again, we've added about 60 names from last year. And everybody is in here. I can promise you, if you signed up by like 8:15 this morning Mountain Time, you are in this raffle here. So these are the email addresses. By the way, I still have not contacted last week's winners. I've been traveling, doing a lot. If you won last week, I'll be in touch with you here moving forward to pick up your prizes and try to meet with you. But all right, so we're giving away the Zero Gravity chair, and let's go ahead and give that away now. And again, we appreciate everybody for doing this. The Prater Touch yesterday to help raise those subscription levels. So let's go ahead and give away the chair, Zero Gravity chair, and let's see who we got. And again, $70, one-time subscription, hope you'll consider subscribing. We appreciate everybody for hanging on and watching us do this here. But $70 one-time fee. You get all the great prizes. But our winner of the zero gravity chair, perfect for tailgating or camping, is going to be Benjamin Howell. Benjamin Howell, and it looks like he's either a student or was a recent student of Boise State. So congratulations, Benjamin Howell. You win the zero gravity chair. Send me an email, rains@bronconationnews.com, or I will reach out to you soon for that. And congratulations, Benjamin Howell. You win the zero gravity chair. We will touch base with you. Now let's give away a Blue and Orange Store gift card. $25 to the Blue and Orange Store. We appreciate Travis Hawks and company at the Blue and Orange Store for providing some of the prizes. $25 to the Blue and Orange Store. Great for some Christmas gifts, some stuff for the bowl game. Let's give that away to Eric Paternoster. Eric Paternoster. Looks like at hotmail.com. We'll reach out to you, Eric, and you get a $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange Store. We appreciate you, Eric. Congratulations on that. Let's give away one more Blue and Orange Store gift card, $25 to the Blue and Orange Store again. And let's see who else we got coming up here as a winner. $25. Go check out the Blue and Orange Store. Free shipping, any order over $40 at theblueandorangestore.com. $25 goes to ZF Erringer or Z Farringer. Not sure which it is, but Z Farringer, it looks like, at gmail.com. You will win the $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange Store. We do have one more gift. It's a free round of golf at Timberstone. Even if you don't golf, you may know somebody that does. It's the perfect Christmas gift. You get a little card to give your boss or somebody that you know that golfs a free round of golf at Timberstone. Perfect gift for the holidays. Our final winner today is going to be there you go. mannDus.ecislc@gmail.com. We will reach out to you. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that has been subscribing and helping us with what we're doing at Bronco Nation News. And again, we got some really cool prizes still to give away in the next few weeks. We've got some really cool stuff. Actually, I mentioned a snowboard, a Mick Ultra snowboard. We got one of those, what do you call those? Like Bud Light, like it's like a wagon almost, but it's like it goes down for tailgating and gets smaller. It's like a portable wagon. I don't know how you describe it. Perfect for all your tailgating stuff. And then we've got Painter for a Day. That's a $600 value from rowpaint.com. We got some other stuff as well. So appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you didn't win today, I apologize, but we got a ton. We're kind of building up and adding to the prizes each week. We'll have the grand finale with the trip and some other cool stuff the final week. So we'll reach in touch if you won. Congratulations. A lot of great stuff to come next Friday as well. And thank you so much for everybody that has subscribed and given us a chance. If you're watching the show and not familiar with us, please, if you don't want to pay and be a paying subscriber, at least go subscribe on YouTube. This is free and easy, and we're trying to build up our YouTube channel and make that push for 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, just take a second and click that button in the corner. We'd love to have you subscribe and help us as we it's the easiest way to know where all the broadcasts and things are. So Daniel says, great stuff. Thanks. Yeah, sorry, Daniel, we couldn't get you this time, but we got a lot of other prizes, as I said, moving forward. So thank you to everybody for checking us out. All of our other sponsors that I didn't get a chance to individually thank: Bousher Real Estate, United Commercial Insurance, Boise Dentistry Co., Ridley's Family Markets, Timberstone Golf Course. Please check out all of our sponsors, and we thank them for their support of Bronco Nation News. Tequila Gus says it's rigged. I'm not sure how it could be rigged because I didn't know any of the emails of anybody that won. And as we showed before, you cannot rig the Wheel of Games thing. So sorry that you didn't win, but no, this is the last thing I'm trying to do is rig a contest for a zero gravity chair. But we do thank our sponsors, Stein Distributing from Cutwater Spirits, for providing some of the prizes. They provided the chair today, so we appreciate them. But we're in St. Louis, so we'll have full coverage. Pregame show tomorrow night. Boise State, St. Louis. We'll be on the air about 5 o'clock St. Louis time. We got a big pregame show. Abe Jackson's going to join us. Bob Ramsey, the radio voice of the Billikens, going to join us. A lot to get to. I think RJ Keene may even be able to join us live again as well. I'm going to ask Coach Rice if we can do that. But Boise State, They play SLU, big game, and Bronco Nation News in St. Louis to cover the game. So Boise State SLU at the Chaifetz Arena. The game is at 6 o'clock Mountain Time on ESPN+. 5 o'clock Mountain Time. We'll start the pregame show on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Have a great Friday, and we'll talk to you from the Chaifetz Arena, Boise State in St. Louis tomorrow at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Have a great day. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.